This is an instructional guide for the skill of extended writing, communicating about the past for students of Plymstock School studying history. The example that we'll be looking at here is a piece of extended writing, an essay written to a national curriculum level 4. Now this film could be used to support students planning to write an extended piece of writing. It could also serve as a peer marking process, whereby students can see what features are essential to a national curriculum level 4 piece of writing to determine the performance of their own piece of work or that of another student. All extended writing that we undertake at Plymstock School is based on the idea of the PEA model, the point, evidence, analysis. The point being the theme that you are going to discuss, the evidence being the evidence that supports that theme, and the analysis how the evidence answers the question that is set. Students who are developing the PEA skill and deploy that in a paragraph are writing to a national curriculum level 5 standard. So as we look through a level 4 example, we will be expecting to see that the students have gathered their evidence, categorized it under several points, and are able to construct paragraphs, but we will see that the analysis, the explicit answering of the question at the end of each paragraph is absent and missing. The guidance provided in this film will explain why this is a level 4, but also give examples of how a level 5 can be achieved and above. You will find guidance for this on other films that are on this channel. Now the theme for this essay is, why did the Spanish Armada fail? It could be, why did William win the Battle of Hastings? Why was the Roman army so successful? The model of the essay fits these questions. And competent, confident and improving students will see how this model can be applied to an infinite amount of topics. Now, we use the PEA model, and the point evidence analysis forms the paragraphs that form the meat of the sandwich. We often refer to a good essay as a burger, where the two pieces of bread sandwiching the burger are the introduction and at the very end the conclusion. Students are encouraged to keep introductions short, and they should serve as a plan. Turn the question into the start of your essay, and maybe, if we're working to a level 5 or above, start to give ideas about how you are going to carry out this essay. In this essay, a great opening phrase for students, often overused in year 8 and 9, but certainly for year 7, a convenient way of starting an essay. In this essay, I will turn the question into the start of my essay. I will be writing about why the Spanish Armada failed, and I will give reasons, plural. Everything in history is multi-causal, so it always has to be more than one reason for it happening. Now, good short introduction. Let's move on to the first paragraph. Students will have done their research. They will have been reading lots and lots of examples of evidence, and they are encouraged to gather the like evidence together and categorize them. Now that category of evidence forms the point of the paragraph. So this student here has identified a lot of evidence, and what he thinks is the most important evidence as being the poor planning of the Spanish. Firstly, I believe the most important reason for the failure of the Armada was the poor planning of the Spanish. Point. Backed up by evidence, lots of it. The lack of cannon, too many priests, not enough soldiers. Additionally, it's well written, this paragraph. Also, lack of resources. What is missing at the end of this paragraph is the analysis that explicitly answers the question at the start. Why did this evidence lead to the failure of the Armada? Now, students are encouraged to consider the word because. For year 7 students, the word because is critical in the development of the analytical habit. Anything that comes after the word because needs to be an explanation. That explanation is missing at the end of this paragraph because the student doesn't explain why this led to the failure of the Armada. So in terms of our levels of thinking, they can read evidence and they can categorize it. They can remember evidence and write it down. But they haven't clearly used the evidence to answer the question. Now you might say, well, it's very clearly implied in the evidence what the reason, what the cause of the failure was. And I would agree, but it's not said explicitly. And students need to develop the habit of writing clearly and explicitly. It's one of the key employable skills of a competent historian. As we move through paragraph 2, the same model is followed. They've categorized, remembered and deployed their evidence using quotes, which students are encouraged to do so from year 7, but not explicitly then answering the question clearly. And in failing to do that, we achieve only a level 4 rather than the level 5. Subsequent paragraphs 3, 4, and 5 all follow this model. We have a competent, confident student here who can write clearly, structure well, but at the end of each paragraph they are failing to explicitly answer the question. They are not saying, and this explains why the Armada failed, because. And in failing to write that sentence, they are failing to analyze and interrogate and share opinions on what that evidence means. Therefore not achieving the higher level. When they reach their conclusion, students need to express an opinion, because a student like we have read here has not analysed clearly, and only at the end, in expressing an opinion for the most important reason why the Armada failed, will they follow up that opinion with the word because and explain their reason. And in doing so, many students can write essays like this and only achieve the highest level when they actually reach the conclusion and express an opinion which they then justify.